the one thing that has helped me sell a lot more beats today, in spite of beat sales being down overall, and it's so simple. Any producer with a beat store can do this. Easiest thing in the world. All I did was if you want to sell more beats, especially on YouTube, you're going to want to watch this video. We drop a lot of gems. This is my second interview with Diego Torres. As a matter of fact, if you want even more information and a chance to ask Diego Torres questions in real time live, then sign up for the free producer income workshop. They're sponsoring this video. It's a live 3-day workshop on how to sell beats online. Reserve your free tickets now. It's going down on March 8th. On producerincome.com. The link is in the description. And even if you miss it, this video is full of advice that you can implement right now to start selling more beats, to start building your Type Beats channel on YouTube, and work towards a career in music production. Appreciate you watching. Shout out to Diego. Shout out to Producer Income. And from all of us, we wish you lots of success in your beat selling journey. What's going down? We have a very special guest today. He's back. I don't know why people return to my channel after the first time that they are subjected to an interview with me, but Diego Torres is back, and he's kind of like the leading voice in YouTube producer SEO optimization, and has been, I'd say, for the past year solidly. Would you agree with that?
I try my best.
Don't answer. Don't answer that. Well, let's just jump right into the questions, because the last interview we had together, it was more of a conversation, but there were some questions that I wish I had answered. And now with all the changes happening in YouTube and just in the beat selling market in general, I have brand new questions for you. But let's rewind way back, because I don't actually think I know how you started getting into beat selling in the first place. So how did you get into it, and how did you actually begin to make money? Like, at what point what was the timeline like?
I started, so I'm 19. I'm going to turn 20 in July, but I started right when quarantine hit. That's when I kind of got into music production in general. And I had just turned 14, so it was that summer. And so I started young. I know some people start even younger, but I definitely started young. And I kind of just saw, honestly, a lot of your channel. I saw a lot of interviews you did with like top beat sellers, and it's crazy. Like, this is full circle now, but I would see Drum Dummy making videos about it. I'd see Ant Chamberlain making videos, Producer Grind, all that stuff. Just kind of, I went down the rabbit hole, man. And like most of us do. And I really got obsessed with the YouTube side of things more than anything, because I had always loved YouTube, to be honest. I would make videos like since I was 8 years old, like just like messing around and stuff, not seriously or anything. And then I eventually, I started my first Type Beat channel, and I didn't make my first $1,000 selling beats until probably a year or a year and a half after I started like full on trying. So it took me probably till I was 15 and a half or so. And then by the time I turned 16, I had touched 100,000 selling beats. And so it started very slow and then exponentially took off.
That's how it goes, I think, with pretty much all businesses, but especially with beat selling. What changed at that point where suddenly that money just started flowing in?
So it really was primarily due to one of my Type Beat channels just completely taking off. I think I was the fastest Type Beat channel growing for about like 7 months straight. And that was in the trap niche. And so leading up to that, I tried probably 15 channels before that one, and all of them didn't work.
Holy shit.
So it really does take a certain amount of, people always say like consistency. It's like, like you have to be consistent over like everything, not just like posting beats in general. It's like you have to if I like I got shut down many times, and I'll probably get to that later on in this video, but like I got shut down due to me being young with like AdSense, and I was naive and thought like I could finagle that some way, but they would shut me down, man. And so eventually though I got to that winning channel, and that's ultimately when things changed.
No, let's not wait. So you got shut down because AdSense found out you were too young and that violated their terms of service? How the hell
Yeah.
did you get that? Because like I got shut down by AdSense because, and this was years ago, because they suspected suspicious activity. Something. This was before I even started uploading beats. It was weird, but I did nothing, and I waited 5 years until I started, getting back into YouTube, and I was like, wait a second, I should monetize this, and I appealed that restriction from 5 years prior, and I feel like at that point they were like, damn, 5 years ago, now we'll just give it. So I got it back. But
Wow. Okay.
what did you do to get yours back when you were very flagrantly violating their terms?
So I did what most people wouldn't have done, because funny story, it was actually gonna be my first successful channel. My channel, that was the first channel I had actually started blowing up, and I was getting about 1.5 million views a month, and that was for 1 month. And I saw, wow, I'm gonna make $3,000 off or $4,000 off AdSense this month, and I was 15. Like that's crazy. And then one day I wake up to getting shut down, and what I did is I realized, okay, I can't appeal this. They keep denying it, because I did break the rules, to be fair. And I just, instead of quitting, I just kept going. I made more channels, and the next channel I made after that one ended up being my successful one. That hit 60,000 subs in about 2 years. So,
But you never got your AdSense back, or you did eventually?
nope, I didn't.
Oh, so you're not
channel
making
was-
any ad rev from any of your channels?
No, I am. So I got my AdSense back on a new account. I couldn't do it for that channel though.
Okay.
So
I see.
I eventually bypassed it with, I don't even know if I can say, but I just had my parents' AdSense basically.
Okay.
And then
Well, yeah,
would
I think that's
transfer it later.
fine, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
not illegal or anything.
No, I
They're your
don't think
guardians.
it's illegal.
No, they're your
I
legal
don't think so.
guardians. Okay, so
Yeah.
what? 15 channels. Okay, that's crazy. So, but you were dead serious, obviously, and you were stubborn. I want to go back to what you said about consistency. I think there's consistency, and people weaponize that term where they're like, I've been consistent. I've uploaded a beat every single month for the last
Right.
2 years. Like, that's not, come on, man. Or they'll say, I keep doing the same thing over and over again for years and years, and it's not working. And like, that's not really being consistent. That's what
Yeah.
some people would call insanity. But also being stubborn, I think, is a big asset. Where I've said this a million times. I've outlasted a lot of producers who I think are far more talented than I am, just because I'm still here doing it, and they figured out other ways to make money. And then then they come back and they're like, "How did you do it?" I'm like, "You quit. I didn't. That's really it. We could have learned."
Yeah,
together,
you never
but
took your foot off the gas. Yeah.
nah, even if I was going in the wrong direction. So with you went in the wrong direction many times. Obviously, if it took 15 channels, but at that time, what finally clicked for you? What just worked in terms of the SEO in practical terms? What happened that you figured out as a strategy that blew that channel up?
That's actually a really good question, because I think the audience is going to get a lot of gems out of this. I ultimately figured out that, so this is actually when I don't want to say I pioneered this. I was one of the first for sure though, with what I call retention hacks, and ultimately dialing in on the YouTube metrics itself and getting super nerdy on that. And so what I understood was, I found out that, okay, instead of me trying to look at all these like typey advice videos, which there weren't many back then, I looked at like what Mr. Beast was talking about and what like people in general on YouTube were talking about with the algorithm. And they said that what really matters is if your viewers that come back regularly, whether they're subscribed or not, what matters is if they click on your new videos. that is what determines whether you're going to get pushed out to the masses or not. I thought to myself, okay, how can I engineer this in a way where I can actually be consistent with it and get consistent results? And so I figured, well, everyone else is just doing videos with artists as the thumbnails, and it's different every time. It's not really a way, there's no formula to it, right? And so I eventually realized if I have like the same type of picture, like let's say it's a picture of a diamond watch, if I was to post that every single time with really high quality images, but the same type of picture, eventually my audience is going to understand that that is me without even knowing it's me. They will associate that picture with me. And so that just comes down to brand. And so that's how I was able to get so many people to come back every time, not just watch me once, but become fans, which propelled everything. And then I also started implementing movie scene intros, which now YouTube kind of cracked down on them more lately. But at the start, there were no restrictions. And so I was able to basically get a 1 minute 30 or 2 minute average view duration every single time. And that was it.
Okay, then I want to pick up on that later to talk about the changes in the algorithm and YouTube's policies. It's changed quite a bit since the last time we talked.
It has. Sure.
So you were watching video like my channel, for example, and you said Drum Dummy and Ant Chamberlain. Now, all of us are platinum producers, who worked in the industry, continue working in the industry. What made you go the tight beat route rather than trying to get placements?
Not only, like, if we look at it, not only just from like a revenue perspective, but like I also just enjoyed, number one, I enjoyed the YouTube side of things way more, and like the e-commerce side. To be honest, I'm very business focused. So I love business as a whole. And just like, I'm a numbers guy. I don't know.
Or is that running in your family? Do you have entrepreneurial genetics or something?
Not really, actually.
Because I don't either. I absolutely don't. Or musicality at all. So it's weird.
Really, yeah. Yeah, I don't have that really run in my family. But my mom, I'd say, is pretty analytics focused and numbers. That's like kind of the field she worked in for a while, and so maybe I got that from her. But ultimately, like, there is no, and tell me if I'm wrong, but like in terms of stability, there's no better business model or like a way for producers to make consistent money than working for yourself. You know, rather than relying on labels to maybe pay you on time, if they do at all, that gets messy. Or, you know, waiting for just things to maybe happen. It's like, why wait for that maybe? And that's why I just stayed focused on what I know I'm good at, number one, and went all in on that.
Well, that's why I think it's great that you mentioned the people that you mentioned, because like Drum Dummy's working with Rod Wave, and you can still get his beats online for a bundle deal for leases. So it's this hybrid model where I think a lot of producers, I'm not trying to piss anybody off. This was kind of my reality, because I hated beat leases and tight beats, and I was just trying to make it in the industry. And a lot of the colleagues I had in that space felt the same way, and they're like, don't beat lease, it cheapens your brand. Focus on getting these placements. You can't make any money getting these little, and like all those dudes that were pioneers in the beat leasing space suddenly are just getting placements left and right because they foresaw how the industry and the internet were just going to become a singularity, you know. And I'm talking about like the Superstar O's and the Johnny Giulianos. And granted, they made amazing beats, and this is another controversial opinion, but so I won't get too deep into it. But I feel like they defined a sound, multiple sounds, They were incredibly influential on certain eras of hip hop. But having said that, yeah, I mean the hybrid model makes sense because you're waiting for money in the industry. You're right. Like the Summer Walker viral producer memes right now, where they're
Oh
saying,
yeah,
I
yeah,
still have to work a job, even though I'm on the Summer Walker album, which was number one, and
yeah.
then number two on the top 200. I'm like, yeah, I've been knowing that because when I was on a number one album, I had three jobs, and
Right,
between then and me figuring out how to uh, build an online beat selling business, I was making money sporadically. There was no stability.
mhm,
And so when I started working more for myself, like you said, I don't feel like I can control everything, but I certainly control more than I did chasing placements in the industry.
right,
And
right,
then when I got the hit singles, I'm like, I have the stability, the pseudo stability. I had, regular income coming in from the online stuff. And then all of a sudden there's a royalty statement coming in. I'm like, holy shit, that's how, wow, okay, cool, this is great, but it just adds to the overall revenue model. So you can do both,
yeah,
but I see what you're saying. I'm just kind of trying to marry the two worlds here.
sure. No, 100%. You can totally do both. Um, I just if I would have had success with it, with the industry route, it would have been different. I just, I
Well, bro,
didn't
you're
put
19.
enough
It's not
time
like
into it.
you're not retired. You could
Well, of
still do
course,
it.
right, right. But I ultimately realized, I think, so I was actually getting placements even for my YouTubes and stuff, like with Lil TJ and other like major recording artists. Um, but I eventually, when I really went full all in, was in 2025 on the beat selling space, because the reason why is because I realized I was helping people. I realized I was actually like good at something, and I'm not gonna lie, like throughout my life, I never really felt like I was good at something, to be honest. And so that was like a feeling where like I was like, wow, I'm helping all these people just with like my YouTube videos, um and like I get all these messages every day. That's when I was like, okay, now I feel like I'm almost responsible to keep finding new information and be the best at this so I can keep helping these people. Like I felt that responsibility. I don't know if you felt that too. But
Both of the imposter syndrome, and then once people started saying, "Oh yeah, that video helped me," and it'll be people, man. I don't think I ever said this before. I DM'd Blast
mhm.
because he put out this. It was the greatest. I swear, it was the single greatest piece of music producer content ever. It was him singing a song as he's making the beat and explaining the whole process, but as a catchy ass song because Blast is a great songwriter.
Mhm.
And I just DM'd him like, "This is the greatest piece of content ever," and he was like, "Thanks. I used to watch your videos all the time." And I'm like,
No
"What the fuck?"
way.
Because there were other like Mike Zombie um, was tweeting about me before the Drake situation, before Drake signed him.
Mhm.
There were all these situations where, bro, Sir Mix-a-Lot comments on my YouTube channel. And I was like, this is great information. So it's that kind of thing. You're right. It does. And it's funny because it's almost good that on the one hand, I have one of the, you know, most legendary hip hop artists saying, your channel is great and helpful. And then on the other hand, I
Yeah.
have the people saying, kill yourself. You ain't shit. So it
Yeah.
keeps you balanced.
Mhm. It definitely does.
So next question. Before 2025, did you ever want to just give up?
Yeah, there was there was a point when I questioned like the longevity of this game, to be honest. And I didn't understand, like, because I was young, so like I'm still young, but I was younger, and I thought, um, I just had all these questions about like, is this really like something I can do for the rest of my life? And it really came down to it too when I got shut down for the third time. from AdSense, because it took me 3 times to actually realize what I was doing wrong. And so basically at that point, like, I was ready to give up. I didn't, though, because I knew that, like, if I'm able to grow these channels, like, it's not like this is a one-time thing. It ultimately came from like me wanting to keep going. It came from me realizing I could do this over and over again and basically never go hungry. Like, I have a skill where I can grow these channels and sell these beats and build these email lists, and so that's what made me keep going ultimately. Is like, you, in order to see how the longevity of this game and see how good it is, you have to be in it. To be honest, you have to actually be doing it, to really see the power of it.
Or hear me out. You could just be an anonymous user that tells everybody else that they're lying when they say that.
I
It's
get those
possible to
comments
be
all the time.
successful. Well, yeah, but and you know they know what they're talking about. So would you say that you're making more? This is a very prying question, but
Mhm.
this is what I do. Do you make more money off of ad rev or off of raw beat sales?
So I it's switched. There was a period of time, like, I'd say 80% of my career, like, before 2025, honestly, it was like 50-50 ad rev and then beat sales. Going into 2025, I had a different strategy, and I definitely prioritized beat sales more. There were times, though, like, there were times when I thought, shit, maybe I should go back to the AdSense priority, because there were times in 2025, you probably noticed, where beat sales were down as a whole in the market. And so that did have an effect, on certain months. Overall, though, it was definitely my best year selling beats, especially with the model I had going later, in which we can talk about later. But yeah, so I'd say I'll probably get into the new model, which I think is the best model for any producer. It's definitely more sales focused, but yeah, ad revenue is great though. People sleep on the ad revenue.
Well, yeah, and I think that maybe moving forward, that's going to become a more, uh, I guess, a more of a priority for producers.
Yeah.
Because elephant in the room, a lot of producers are reporting that beat sales are dropping
Hmm.
globally. Um, and I would agree that traditional beat leasing has gone down. I don't know if you're seeing that. So,
Yeah.
do you think that monetizing free beats is going to become a more viable alternative?
No, I
Mm.
don't think so. Because ultimately, here's my argument against that. I think that, yes, you can make a lot off AdSense revenue. It's inconsistent still. You still circle back to inconsistency. Because there's some months, you know this as well. Like, there's some months where you're crushing it, and there's some months where your views are like low, and you're like maybe freaking out a little. And so
That's this month for me.
me too on my channel. But basically, what I think producers are going to start shifting towards, and what I encourage them to shift towards, is, since, yeah, beat the number of transactions are down, right? Overall, that doesn't mean that you can't have 10, 15, 20 solid customers that purchase for more, right? So if transactions are down and you're selling $30 leases, yeah, your revenue is going to go down. But when you charge for packages or deals like that, and you focus on creating a customer list of your ideal customers that already buy from you, and you prioritize those, and don't have an ego of, oh, I just want to do nothing and post my beats and just have millions of dollars come through, that's bullshit, um, you have to focus on that existing customer list, because the transactions, yeah, the number of transactions is going down. So we should prioritize the ones that we do have, you know?
Well, the one thing that has helped me sell a lot more beats today,
Hmm.
in spite of beat sales being down overall, and it's so simple. Any producer with a beat store can do this. Easiest thing in the world. All I did was I just stopped setting my exclusive sales as offers only. I just put a number there.
Interesting. Okay.
And
And that's
that
been doing
increased.
well?
I would say it doubled my exclusive sales because
Wow.
for a number of reasons. One, people are intimidated by the make offer, right? Because they
Hmm.
don't know what is going to be an acceptable range.
Yeah.
Number two, what I've found, and it used to frustrate me to no end, I would wake up in the morning because people are on different schedules, people are in different time zones.
Hmm.
Someone in Germany or the UK, I don't know what time it is there, but it's not the same time. It could be
Yeah.
nighttime. So I would wake up and like 6 hours prior, someone put in, at 3 in the morning, someone put in an exclusive offer. And it was a good offer. So I would hit accept. But within that 6 hours, they had moved on to something else.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
so I'm like, I can't, this is so frustrating. What I would have loved is if it had been an escrow situation like with eBay, when you put in a bid and
Hmm.
you win that bid, that money is automatically extracted from your account. Beat stores
Right.
don't operate like that. I don't know why they should, but that would also improve our sales. But I
Yeah.
just had to start setting exclusive prices, not on the beats that I don't want to sell exclusively because they're viral or whatever, but
Yeah.
on beats that are newer that I'm willing to part with, which is pretty much every beat nowadays because the market's changed.
Hmm.
And that's helped me because the artists, they'll see the price, they can make the determination as to whether or not they want it, or they can reach out if they want to negotiate. But if
Right.
they're
Right.
doing that, they're serious about it to begin with. They're not
True.
just going to suddenly switch up if I don't respond
Yeah.
to them within an hour and a half. You know what I mean? So that's
Right.
been a major shift for me.
Yeah, I think also the whole make offer thing is it attracts low ballers. I don't know if you've
Mm.
noticed that. People will like put in an offer below what your like premium lease is at or like your wave lease. And it's like yeah,
Yeah, I mean, people have
I would
offered
get so
me
many. Yeah.
$5 for an unlimited, and I'm like, that's a $145 difference, dude. Like, even if you offered me 50%, I'd probably say yes. But come on, man.
Yeah.
It's funny. I think I've shared screenshots of that. So I guess last question, and then we can move on to the bigger stuff next for part two. What belief about success changed things for you for the better?
I'd say that volume is everything. So when I say that, I don't just mean like do so much without caring. Like there's a way to go about it. So with volume, first of all, volume completely wipes out luck. Always. Your luck, it completely like in your favor. It wipes out luck. It wipes it out of the equation because if you post so much and you do so much, your odds of succeeding over someone who does one beat a year, it's so much more. Because yeah, you could say, "Oh, be consistent." Okay, I'll post one beat a month and I'll be consistent with that. But is that enough? Not really, right? So volume is everything, and the thing is though, to an extent, because you have to have volume, but also you have to be improving every single time, right? You can't just do the same thing for 5 years like we mentioned earlier and then wonder why you're not crushing it. And it's because you're doing the same thing that didn't work. Like and so you should be improving every single time. And after 100 videos or 500 beats in your catalog, you've built up a catalog that now makes you money every single day. Because even if every beat only got one view a day, 500 beats, that's guaranteed 500 views now. And if it's positioned on a channel where you're targeting your ideal customers and you build up that customer list, you have a legitimate beat selling business with not that much traffic. So that's where I say, like, success in terms of in life in general, volume is everything.
I mean, yeah, in other career fields, you hear about that. And volume is different from quantity. I just want to clarify, because a lot of people say, well, quantity over quality. Generally, the people that make those statements, generally, not always, are the people that refuse to release beats because they're not perfect. And so that's not the same as quality. Perfection and quality are entirely different monsters.
Oh, yeah.
And quantity and volume are different monsters as well.
Yep.
I guess I don't understand how people can look at a bodybuilder and they're like, well, reps and progressive overload. And you're like, well, that can't apply to beats. Or people who practice, and eventually make it into the league or something like that. And like, well, nah, if I just make one shot perfectly, that's how I'm going to get into the NBA. Like, get out of here. So yeah, I think that's a great place to end part one. Yeah, volume works. And thank you for all the information that you dropped throughout.